In this video, I'm going to be taking all the main biomes in Minecraft and building them in microscale for tiny Lego Steve. According to Minecraft.net, there's a total of 18 different biomes in Minecraft, and out of that list, I picked 8 of the most recognizable biomes to build. And Lego actually made 4 of these microbiomes back in 2013 and 2014. They made a plains biome, a mountains biome, the nether, and the end. The builds were a really interesting early take on Lego Minecraft, and featured a small village, a first night home, and other recognizable structures. They also included a few micro mobs like a pig, creeper, enderman, ghast, and a few others. And most importantly, a micro Steve. Bruh. And this is minifigure Steve holding micro Steve for some scale. But enough with the official Lego set. It's time to build our own. I placed a large order for Lego pieces and waited a few days, and voila, it's building time. The first biome up is the jungle biome, full of trees of all sizes, foliage, and even the elusive jungle temple. I started by constructing the base of the first square of our biome, and now it's time to build the overworld. We had to be sure to include a jungle temple, so that's what I built first. I made these custom-built bricks to look like mossy cobblestone. Then I added the bricks to the base of the structure and topped it off with the roof. And for being in microscale, it looks pretty accurate to the in-game temple. I built another base and started on the next portion of the overworld. I added translucent green pieces to add some variation in color and constructed a couple jungle trees. I placed down the 2 trees and this section was complete with a small addition of a couple flower pieces. For the next section, I wanted to add some terrain variation. So I made a small hill and then added some flowing water and grass blocks. I built a couple trees and placed them down to complete it. I finished up the last section of the jungle biome and then snapped them all together. With the jungle complete, Steve now ventures inside the jungle temple. He narrowly avoids all the arrows and emerges richer than ever. The next biome for Steve to explore is the taiga biome. I worked on constructing the first bottom section and decided to add in custom iron, diamond, and coal blocks. Then I finished up the rest of the base and added in the custom coal, iron, and diamond blocks. Taiga biomes have a lighter green grass, so I decided to go with this sand green color. For the first section of terrain, I made a small hill and then added some stud-built sweet berry bushes. Then finished it off by making a couple spruce trees. I wanted a village for Steve to explore, so I built one with some custom cobblestone bricks in the next chunk. I also added another bush and another spruce tree. The villagers need a farm, so I made them one with pumpkins and watermelons. I wanted to make a giant spruce tree on Podzol to finish off the taiga biome. I used 2x2 bricks for the giant spruce and placed a mushroom and a couple berry bushes around it. I put the last section down and our taiga biome is ready for Steve to explore. He goes to the village and trades his emeralds from the jungle temple for some obsidian blocks. Up next is the mushroom fields biome. I made all 4 sections of the base and then snapped them all together. Because the whole biome is an island, I decided to surround it all with blue tiles for water. Then I made the land by building up a few different layers. Using some red and white plates, I made a custom giant red mushroom. Then using dark tan, I constructed a giant brown mushroom. I placed them down and the mushroom field is complete. Steve sails all the way there and then realizes there's not a whole lot to do. But there are a lot of fun guys. The next biome up is the snowy tundra. I started by once again building the entire base. Since the snowy tundra is a blend of the plains and taiga biomes, it needed to be mainly snow and a few spruce trees. I also added a small frozen pond on the first section. For the next chunk, I made a small igloo which can be found throughout the snowy wasteland. Then finished it off with a pumpkin and small tree. On the third section, I made a frozen shoreline and once again added another pumpkin and spruce tree. For the final piece of the snowy tundra, I made a pumpkin field, which are commonly found there. I placed the chunks together, and the snowy tundra is ready for Steve to explore. While roaming around, he stops to pick up a pumpkin, and luckily, he's able to wear it to sneak by an enderman. Next on the list is the swamp biome. I grabbed dark green tiles, then began work on the first section. I built up a small section of land and then made the rest water. Then I added in a couple trees as well as a giant brown mushroom, which are actually found in swamps. I used blue and translucent green tiles and this lily pad to give it the swampy feel. I built the next chunk which continued the shoreline and plopped down another tree and mushroom to finish it off. The swamp would not be complete without a witch's hut, so that's what I built next. It actually turned out looking better than I expected. I placed down another mushroom, tree, and the witch's hut. I built up the final section and placed a couple more trees down. Then, all that was left to do was to put them all together. And it's ready for Steve to explore. He immediately heads to the witch to remove her from his newfangled swamp.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Take a moment to blow up that subscribe button. Our next biome up is the ice spikes. I built all 4 sections of the base and snapped them together. Since the ice spikes are blue and nestled in snow, I grabbed a few different shades of blue pieces. I built out the first section of land, making sure to include multiple spikes similar to the in-game terrain. For the next piece of land, I built up a cliffside. Then I filled up the remaining space with a few different shaped ice spikes. And then I finished up by building the last two sections of land, one with a frozen lake surrounded by spikes, and the other with a few more as well. After connecting all the land together, the ice spikes is ready for Steve to explore. This is the perfect place for Steve to practice his parkour skills. But while he's distracted, a skeleton sneaks up on him. It was built using the skeleton tile from this Minecraft set. Luckily, Steve was able to land his MLG water bucket and destroy the skeleton. For the next biome, I messaged my friend Brickley for help to build it.
Hey MKMBrick, it's Brickley here, and I'm gonna help you out by building a desert biome in Lego. One of the coolest buildings has to be the desert temple, and that's what I plan on creating for your world. So I started by grabbing the micro scale instructions to build the base. I made one according to the instruction and customized the remaining 3 myself. Now that the ground is complete, we can start working on the temple. I think the design is really accurate to the game and was inspired by John toys. All we have to do to finish off this build is add some 1x1 tiles, but my bricklink order hasn't arrived on time, so I guess I'll rob some pieces from one of my favorite Lego sets. Rivendell looks a bit empty like this, however, we do have enough pieces to finish the desert temple, so next up I placed all the tiles on top of the build, and it makes it look a lot more complete, and I even added the Steve minifigure. I hope this is a nice fit for your world, even though it's quite large. I'll see you all in the next video, boys and girls, and remember to support the Grand Army of the Republic.
The last biome on the list is the Badlands, specifically the eroded version. I started by building all 4 bottom sections of the biome and then began on the surface. The first quarter of the build I made one big plateau and followed a similar layer pattern as the game. I ordered some more pieces and then built another plateau with an added water source. I finished the last 2 sections of the surface with one featuring a smaller plateau and the other with a ruined portal. I added all 4 sections to the base, and the Badlands turned out looking like the not-so-Badlands. Now Steve can explore the final biome. He heads to the ruined portal and finishes building it with the obsidian he traded for. And through the portal he goes, on to the next big adventure.